Welcome back. The Office of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, in Kwanpan local government area of Plateau State has been razed by fire, causing setback in preparations for the 2019 general elections in the area. A statement issued by INEC's Voter Education and Publicity Officer in the state says the incident, which occurred last night, was caused by a drunken security man. Speaking further, he says the office and all its content, like ballot boxes, newly printed electronic and manual voters register, materials for the preparations of registration area collation, uncollected permanent voters cards, as well as other yet-to-be-identified materials, were all completely destroyed by the inferno. Mr. Imahorobo adds that a management team led by INEC's Administrative Secretary, Badamosi Rashid, is on the way to the area to assess the situation. Meanwhile, the Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, has ordered round-the-clock security around INEC offices and facilities nationwide. The IGP also directed all commissioners of police in the 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory to put in place adequate, functional and purposeful security arrangements that will protect all INEC offices and materials from all forms of crimes and mischief before, during and after the elections. The Zonal Assistant Inspectors General of Police AIGs will also monitor compliance level of commands under their jurisdiction and ensure that INEC facilities are not attacked under their watch. The IGP also gives the assurance to Nigerians of the readiness of the Nigeria Police Force to deliver on its mandate of providing a safe and enabling environment for the conduct of the general election. Anambra State Governor Willie Obiano says tanker drivers in the state must now use designated routes. The governor made this announcement when he paid a visit to the scene of a tanker accident, which claimed the lives of 2 persons, leaving several others with various degrees of burns at Anambra. The governor also announced that the driver of the tanker has been apprehended.
All is not well at the popular Anambra roundabout in Awka, the Anambra State capital. The reason is this fire explosion caused by a fully loaded tanker which fell off while negotiating the roundabout. Eyewitnesses at the scene say the incident occurred around 8 o'clock on Saturday night, but not without some casualties, as 2 lives were lost, with vehicles, houses and shops also consumed.
From the magnitude of damages, destruction of vehicles, let me say it would have portended greater tragedy for Anambra if not for the timely intervention of the fire service.
The security post of the Governor's Lodge, the traffic light, the head office of the State Fire Service were also not spared.
Drivers driving at night, they must ensure that their vehicles are in good working conditions. The lighting system must be very okay, and they must obey the speed limit.
Before long, Governor Willie Obiano visits the scene and sympathizes with those affected, while the State Commissioner for Health gives an update on the injured.
I'm very sorry about the casualties that were recorded. I hear about 8 people were injured. We have arrested the tanker driver. We are going to the other routes for tankers. They should not ply this way again with this kind of fuel.
Right now we are with 3 people that are severely wounded. We have taken to our teaching hospital at Tamak here, but the burns are extensive, and we're taking them to a bigger teaching hospital at New. But so far, they're still far better, but we're moving them down. I think we do the best for them.
The area has been cordoned off, and the head of the fire team appeals to everybody to steer clear and avoid trying to quench the remaining flames on the burning tanker, as any attempt may cause heavier conflagration.
So ahead of the forthcoming elections, hate speech and disinformation, or outright fake news, are some of the most worrisome trends, raising serious concern among political actors in Nigeria as the nation's presidential election draws near. And to mitigate the negative effects of such trend, the Nigeria Broadcasting Commission, NBC, is handing out a final warning to media practitioners not to allow politicians and their handlers use their medium to propagate such. The Director General of the NBC, Malam Ishaq Modibo, emphasized that the Commission will not hesitate to sanction organizations who spread fake news. He was speaking at a conference on the effects of hate speech and fake news in Abuja.
Nigeria's most anticipated general elections is less than 8 days away, beginning with the presidential and National Assembly elections on the 16th of February. The need for media practitioners to scrutinize what politicians and their handlers are saying in order to prevent the spread of fake news and hate speech is the reason why the Nigerian Broadcasting Commission, NBC, is holding this conference in Abuja.
As the politicians and political parties make spirited efforts of winning the electorate around Nigeria, it is our duty to help the country make a most meaningful sense of the entire political and electoral process from the standpoint of the broadcast industry. NBC, working with other state institutions, could sharply administer the most extreme forms of reprimands against its licensees if that became necessary to save the country from danger.
I will at this point like to use this opportunity to urge our media, print, electronic, and the social media especially, to use their strategic positions to join hands with government to curb this menace in all ramifications.
For other participants at the conference, including members of the international community, peaceful conduct of the 2019 general elections is a priority that must be pursued by all.
Citizens in general should shun and preach harmony and peaceful coexistence. Electoral violence is a dent to democracy.
I therefore reiterate the message of the United Nations and the international community to all stakeholders, including voters, party supporters, and followers, that at the end of the electoral process, Nigeria as a country should emerge as the overall winner.
The February 16 presidential election is one of the most keenly contested elections in Nigeria since 1999, when the military handed over power to civilians. It is the desire of many Nigerians that the exercise is peaceful, irrespective of the individual interests.
And just one more political story. President Muhammadu Buhari has once again explained why he suspended the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Walter Onogo, noting that it was owing to huge sums of money found in his possession which could not be accounted for. The president gave the explanation while addressing supporters at the Zamfara State All Progressives Congress presidential campaign rally in the state capital, Gusau. He assured the people of the state that corruption will be dealt with and that the issue of candidacy in the state will be resolved before the presidential elections begin. Our correspondent Dora Umezoke has more.
His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari.
President Muhammadu Buhari arrives the state capital, Gusau, Zamfara State, for the All Progressives Congress presidential campaign rally. In company of party leaders, the president heads straight to the Emir's palace, Alhaji Ibrahim Bello Kogo, Emir of Gusau. Proceeding to the trade fair complex, the president and entourage was received by a large crowd, chanting in solidarity and waving the symbolic brooms. Party leaders then reassure residents that there is more hope in spite of past lootings by the previous administration. The national chairman of the party takes to the podium in his usual style.
Sukotu, that's you gaskiya. Baba damuwa, iko ji gaskiya. Dole za yi zabe.
We are hungry because PDP stole all our money and the economy crashed under PDP. Naira began to rise rapidly, or fall rather, against the dollar under the PDP government. So they should stop lying to us.
The governor is optimistic that the orders of the court and the wish of the people would be upheld.
Alhamdulillah, kotu anan mataki na ƙasa ta ba mu umarni mu ci gaba da al'amuran jam'iyya, kuma uwar jam'iyya ta ƙasa ta ɗauki sunaye ta kai ma ainihin hukumar zaɓe, kuma uwar jam'iyya ta yi haka ƙarƙashin jagorancin gwamnan Adamu Shumale.
Amidst an ecstatic crowd, the president is ushered to the podium. He underscores a vow to investigate looters of public funds.
Duk da na tsaye da chief judge na ƙasa saboda an samu yana da wasu makudan kuɗi waɗanda bai iya bayani ta ina ya same su, kuɗin kuma na ƙasar waje. To alƙawarin da na yi da rantsuwa da na yi da alƙur'ani shine zan yi gaskiya, zan kamanta gaskiya, ba zan ci amana al'umma ba, kuma ba zan ga wani ya ci amana al'umma ba in kyale shi.
This presidential campaign wraps up a week of campaigns in Zamfara state, which began last Sunday.
The president has relentlessly appealed to Nigerians to re-elect him so that he can consolidate on the achievements of his first term. Over the last couple of weeks, he has campaigned in well over 30 states and looking to do more just before the presidential elections on February 16. From Gusau, Zamfara state, Gloria Umezuke, Channels Television News.
And now let's take you to the arts. This veteran artist has been off the radar for some time now, and now he has returned to share his creativity. Art Review Tonight presents Osaluka Osadebe at the National Museum in Lagos.
It's a homecoming exhibition for this veteran multi-talented artist, Osaluka Osadebe, who is shining his inner light at the National Museum in Lagos with his latest body of work.
It has been Osaluka Osadebe's homecoming, and we've had these incredible titans, the other Zaria rebels, who came to welcome him back. So we had Demas Nwoko, we had Bruce Onabrakpaya, and we had Yusufu Grillo, who all came to welcome their old friend back. Today we have an amazing exhibition of 85 artworks and 1 sculpture, mostly on paper, but there are 2 on canvas. And these are works that span 54 years, from 1960 to 2014.
For those who don't know him, Professor Osadebe is one of the pioneer members of the Zaria Art Society, now known as the Ahmadu Bello University, where he specialized in painting and sculpture in 1962.
I will do a series of drawings, some of them black and white. So there are several ikemefunas. Then there come the inner light. The inner light has about 6 different drawings. There is a series of works that are done in black and white, and then you will see a woman crouched, kneeling down, and Jesus Christ as a boy is airborne, and then there is an angel that is also like a boy. So both of them are airborne. The woman is kneeling down and she stretches her hands. And so the concept was to create a series of paintings. Some of them are black and white. And then I will use 1 or 2 or 3 of them to complete a piece of work.
This veteran has his hands in many pies. Besides being an artist, he's a theater director, playwright, and teacher. Those are some of the things that kept him busy during his long absence from the Nigerian art scene.
The program of doing visual arts in 1958 to 64 was the end of the visual arts. But from that on, then I began to consider the theater. So that, because it's a much more elaborate program, I was there for 3 years.
The images exhibited were created between 1960 and 2014, a visual collection of Professor Osadebe's life in the arts, so the audience can get an insight into his artistic journey.
And still ahead on the news at 10, reigning English Premier League champions Manchester City humiliate Chelsea at the Etihad Stadium in a thrilling Super Sunday clash. That's in sports news. Please stay with us.